What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I want to thank every single person that has subscribed to the channel in the last few weeks. We've more than doubled the channel. We went from like 35 subscribers up to 70. I know that's not a lot of subscribers, but the fact that we doubled the channel in less than a few weeks, that really speaks to the support that you guys are giving me throughout this channel, and it pushes me to make more video contents, more contents about my Shelby. We do have another car that we just recently ordered, so I'm going to release that in another video here. But today I want to talk about the Shelby GT350 and the oil consumption that these cars go through. So if you're in the market for a Shelby GT350, or you're currently own a Shelby GT350 and it's consuming oil, you're definitely going to want to watch this video, because I'm going to basically talk about what I went through with this car here. It's got the new engine replacement. I just got it back in like November, December, but I'm just going to talk about what I went through with the engine replacement. Anyways, let's get into it. So basically what happens with these cars is that it is a 5.2 liter flat plane crank engine. It's got 526 horsepower. It redlines at 8250. Now that's a high redline for a Mustang especially. So with that comes some issues, and one of the main issues that comes with the Shelby GT350 is that they consume a lot of oil. Now this isn't for every single Shelby GT350, but it's majority with the 2016s and 17s, which this is a 2017. And I think about halfway through 2018, they replaced it with the Gen 2 Voodoo motor. And so the 2019s and 2020s, I know that there are some cases where they have had their engines replaced, but not as much as the 2016s and 17s. So I bought this car back in 2018 in November. So 2020, I put a lot of kilometers on it. I put about 14,000 kilometers on this car. And it didn't consume too much oil. It was probably consuming 1 liter every, I want to say, 1,000 to 2,000 kilometers. So Ford claims under heavy use that these cars will consume 1 liter every 500 miles or 1 liter every 800 kilometers. Oh, nice Fox body just drove by. Anyways, they say that it'll consume that much oil under heavy use, which is a lot of oil if you really think about it. I was pretty much putting 1 liter of oil every 2 fuel tanks, which is, it got to be a lot, because I was finding myself going to the dealership all the time to pick up some extra oil. And finally I just started deciding that I'm going to, monitor the oil, and I'm going to keep a log of all the times that I filled it up with oil and kept the date, kept the kilometers. And finally I looked at it and I was realizing that it was actually consuming more oil than what Ford was saying was normal. So what I did is I took it down to the Metro dealership, where Ford Metro dealership down in downtown here, where I bought the car. This is not a dig at them. They did a fantastic job of replacing my engine. The sales manager there was great. Tammy, the service manager, was really great. She did a fantastic job of helping me out with keeping me up to date, letting me know what's going on with my car. So when we went there, I explained to them that I feel that my car is consuming too much oil, and that I feel like they need to do an oil consumption test. Now, most Ford dealerships don't even know what an oil consumption test is. Well, I had to explain it to them, but after that, they did the oil consumption test, and what that entails is that they're going to do a complete oil change. So what they're going to do is, this car takes 10 liters of oil. So what they'll do is they'll do an oil change. They'll change the oil, the air filter or the oil filter. And what they're going to do is they're going to put 9 liters of oil in the car. And what they're going to do, and the reason why they put 9 liters in there is because they want to mark the dipstick at what is 1 liter low. What they'll do is they'll put the 9 liters in there, they'll wait 10 minutes, they actually looked at a clock, then we pulled the dipstick and we marked it 1 liter low. It's usually right at the bottom dot of the dipstick. So we both agreed, we're like, hey, we're going to mark it at the bottom dot of the dipstick. And then we put the last liter in there for a total of 10 liters. And they basically waited 10 minutes, let the oil settle in the engine. And we basically checked the engine oil, and it was marked at the top dot now on the oil stick. So what they'll do is, every dealership's a little bit different. So some dealerships will say come back every 200 kilometers or every Wednesday, or come back after 800 kilometers. Now the trick to that is you want to go back to them before you hit the 800 kilometer mark, because if you go to 801 and it's consuming 1 oil, it will pass the oil consumption test. But if you're at 799 kilometers and you put in 1 liter of oil, it'll fail the oil consumption test. So basically the first thing that Ford's going to want to do is find out, is it consuming more oil than it should? And this car was consuming 1 liter every, 1.5 liters every 763 kilometers. So it was consuming quite a bit of oil. So after it fails the oil consumption test, what they're going to do is they're going to take the car in, they're going to do a whole bunch of tests, They're not actually licensed to, they're not actually, the service tech can't actually go in and dissect the entire engine. They're only allowed to go in so far because these are sealed engines, and they're not able to basically dig further than what the Ford manufacturer tells them they can. So first thing that they're going to do is they're going to check and see if there's any oil leaks anywhere around the engine. They're going to check the heads, they're going to check, I think, the PVC valve. They checked a whole bunch of stuff. So basically what will happen is it'll take about 3 weeks for them to do all these tests that they go back and forth with Ford. And Ford will say, do this test, do this test, do this test. And finally they'll come back and they'll say, okay, well, we're going to replace your engine. Now, replacing an engine isn't something that this video is about. Like, I'm not trying to show you how to go get a brand new engine for Ford. That's not what this video is about. This is basically just to tell you what you can expect and what the timeline looks like when you're getting your engine replaced from Ford. Now, I have 5 to 6 buddies that have Shelby GT350s, and half of them have had their engine replaced, and they're all 2017s. So that being said, this car is amazing. I have no knocks on the car. I love this car. It's so much fun. Every time I drive it, people always wave and smile. They cheers you for such an amazing car, and it's a fantastic car. I will always own this till the day I die, hopefully. But basically, I just want to talk to you guys about what the oil consumption test looks like. Now, after they do the test, you're going to basically go through a bunch of processes. Basically, they're going to call Ford, and they're going to keep going back and forth, until finally they're like, hey, you guys need to replace this engine. Because obviously Ford doesn't want to replace the engine. These are $26,000 engines. And if you go on the Ford forums or the Shelby forums, you're going to see that a lot of them have been replaced. And luckily that they've been replacing it with the Gen 2 Voodoo motor. Now, this originally came with the Gen 1 Voodoo, which is in the they started in 2015, 2016, 2017, halfway through 2018, and then halfway through 2018 they started with the Gen 2 Voodoo motor, which is basically got the aluminum block from the GT500 and some upgraded heads. They seem to have solved the problem of the oil consumption. So that's what this thing has, and I'm super happy. You can ask for anything better than to have the newer version of the motor that has got like the GT500 block, and it's rated for boost, which is really nice. I'm not going to boost this car. I want to keep the factory warranty for as long as I can. But I was really lucky in this forum that Tammy there took a few videos of them replacing the motor and going through starting it up, bringing the engine in, unwrapping it, and putting it in. So I'm gonna basically go into those videos there, and hope you guys enjoy this video. Please comment down below if you've had your engine replaced, or if you have any questions. I'd love to help you guys out there. But here's the videos of them replacing my Ford motor. Thanks, guys.